The Littlest Firefly. Once upon a time, in a vast, sprawling meadow under the starry night sky, lived the tiniest of all fireflies. Her name was not important, as no one actually knew it. She was just known as the littlest firefly. All her fellow fireflies were big and bold, with wings that glowed so brightly they could light up the entire meadow. They would soar high into the moonlit sky and put on the most dazzling displays, lighting up the night with their magnificent glows. Poor littlest firefly, however, was too small to join in on the fun. Her tiny wings hardly glowed, and she could only buzz around for a few moments at a time, unable to keep up with the fleet-footed, agile fireflies that surrounded her. She would gaze up at them with longing, but no matter how much she strained and buzzed, she just couldn't keep up. One night, the littlest firefly lay on a nearby dandelion, gazing up at the sky. She saw the most beautiful of all the fireflies, with bright gold wings, twirling and swooping through the sky. The littlest firefly was in awe and couldn't take her eyes off the magnificent display. She was so transfixed that she didn't even notice when the wind picked up and sent her winging away into the darkness. The littlest firefly tumbled and rolled through the night, her tiny wings flapping wildly as she just managed to stay afloat. She tried to yell for help, but the howling wind snatched her voice away. She was so small and so scared, with no one to turn to and nowhere to go. But then she saw it, a faint, flickering light. It was barely there, but it was definitely real. The littlest firefly followed the light, keeping her tiny wings moving as fast as she could. Suddenly, she saw a tiny, glowing cottage in the distance. She flew closer, and closer still, till finally she was in front of the door. She hesitated, unsure of what to do. But then, bravely, she tapped lightly on the door. To her surprise, it opened, revealing a room that was filled with thousands of little fireflies, all of them eagerly chattering and glinting their wings. The littlest firefly didn't know what to do, but she was quickly ushered inside. There, she met a wise old firefly who listened to her tale of woe. He smiled and sat her on his lap, gently explaining to her that she was not small, but special. He told her that her tiny, glorious light was just as bright and just as beautiful as any other. And then he said something that would change her life forever. "Littlest firefly," he said, "you may be small, but when all is dark, you will shine the brightest. You are the one that will lead us through the storms and guide us to safety. For you, dear littlest firefly, are the light of hope." And so it was. The littlest firefly was no longer small and insignificant. She was special, with a role so vitally important that no one could do without her. She twinkled and shone in the darkness, leading her brothers and sisters to safety, and always, always shining a light of hope.